Hi, I'm Olga at HighYa, and today I'm here with a review of the Tan Physics True Color Sunless Tanner. Now, Tan Physics is a naturally derived sugar-based formula that claims to be packed with a lot of useful ingredients such as peptides, amino acids, and fruit extracts, which all help to increase the depth and color of your tan. In fact, Tan Physics claims that this tanner could replace your moisturizer due to its anti-aging properties, which help to nourish and restore your skin. Now, some of the ingredients that are used in this tanner are argan and coconut oil, sugar and caramel, organic aloe vera, and hydrolyzed collagen. Now, the Tan Physics Sunless Tanner can be purchased directly from the company's website for $29.99. The company also offers a pre-tan exfoliant as well as a tan extender, both of which retail for $49.99. However, today I want to specifically focus on the Sunless Tanner. Now, I ordered my 8-ounce Sunless Tanner from Amazon, and after all the shipping fees, it ended up costing just over $35. Now, this product comes with very simple and basic directions which tell you to apply this tanner to clean and exfoliated skin. It recommends that you use this sparingly around areas like your ankles or your knees, and that you wash your hands immediately after application. The directions state that you should reapply this tanner daily until you reach your desired color. Now, some of the main claims that Tan Physics makes about the Sunless Tanner is that it provides rich and natural color, it nourishes your skin, it works on your body as well as your face, and that you will have no streaks, no orange, and no scent. Now, right away when you open the bottle, you notice a fairly strong scent. It's a very distinct citrus or an orangey smell that reminds me either of Pine Sol or that Orange Glow furniture cleaner, or maybe the orange flavored Palmolive dishwashing soap. And while this smell wasn't very off-putting or offensive to me, it's definitely very different from the coconut smell that I've come to expect from virtually every tanner that I've used before. Now, the tanner itself is very dark brown in color. It does have a color guard to let you know where you're applying the product. And it is fairly viscous and has the consistency of a body lotion. Now, to prepare my skin, I followed the more thorough instructions on the Tan Physics website, and I exfoliated my skin with a washcloth like they recommend. They also state that you shouldn't shave or wax within 24 hours of applying this product to prevent the tanner from settling into your hair follicles. If you've had problems in the past with the tanner settling into the hair follicles of your skin, that is definitely a good tip to keep in mind, and avoid shaving or waxing prior to applying this tanner. Now, as for the application of the Sunless Tanner, the thing that struck me most when I first applied it to my skin is that you really don't need a large amount of product. If you use too much, it will be harder to blend it into your skin and for it to absorb into your skin, which could of course result in streaks and an uneven application. So I definitely noticed that a little bit goes a long way, and you don't need as much of this tanner as you think you do to cover a small section. So I squeezed a small amount of the Tan Physics tanner into my palm and began applying it in circular motions. I did not use gloves or a tanning mitt. I simply used my hands. Now, following the company's instructions, I found it easier to work in smaller sections, and using the residual tanner that's left on my hands after I worked most of this product in on areas such as knees, ankles, or your elbows. Now, this tanner is fairly easy to blend and work into your skin. I found that it doesn't take a whole lot of effort to make sure that everything is fully absorbed and blended well. It feels very much like a normal body lotion. Now, I also noticed that that citrusy orange smell dissipates fairly quickly. Once this tanner is applied and dried and absorbed into your skin, I couldn't really notice any smell whatsoever. Now in my experience, this tanner dries and absorbs into your skin within about 5 minutes. It's definitely better to wait longer to give it more time to fully absorb, but I had no problem putting on my clothes on right after application, and I never noticed any staining or streaking of the lotion on my clothes. Now the Tan Physics website states that this tanner should develop within 6 to 24 hours of application, which seems like quite a large time range. It also states that you shouldn't shower within 6 hours of application to give the tanner the opportunity to develop. Here you can see a comparison of my skin with and without the tanner shortly after applying it. I do have to say that the color guard or the instant bronzer that's built into this tanner is fairly faint. Immediately after the tanner is applied, you don't notice a great deal of difference in color. There's maybe just a slight tint, but it's definitely not anything dramatic. I usually let this tanner develop either the whole day or overnight, and here in this shot, after about 24 hours, you can see the difference between the untanned side of my body and the side where I applied the Tan Physics tanner. Now this is about 24 hours after application without showering or washing this lotion off. Now once I did shower, however, I did notice that you do lose quite a bit of the color. The tan does fade a little bit after showering, and it does end up looking very natural and a lot more subtle. I did do a second application of this tanner the very next day just to see how well you are able to build the color. Now as you see here, immediately after my second application, I'm left with a nice tint of color. After about 18 to 20 hours of the tanner developing, this is the color that I was left with. I got a nice natural looking color, but it was definitely not a deep bronze tan that a lot of people might be looking for. And of course, after showering and rinsing that second application, I was left with less color and a very natural, subdued tan. Now, after these two applications, this color lasted me about 2 to 3 days before I really started to notice it fading away. Now, to try and sum up my experience with the Tan Physics tanner, here are the things that I liked about it. After the initial application, once the tanner had a chance to dry and absorb, it virtually had no smell. As I wore the tanner throughout the day and at night, I really couldn't detect any smells, especially that DHA or that sunless tanner smell that most of us are probably familiar with. So if you are able to get past the initial strong orangey citrus smell upon initial application, this lotion will be virtually scentless. Another positive is that I haven't noticed this tanner rubbing off on my clothes or bed sheets. I suppose that if you are wearing something bright immediately after applying this tanner, it is possible that it will rub off and leave some stains. However, I haven't noticed any of that in my experience. Third positive for me was that this tanner dries fairly quickly. It absorbs and feels very much like a body lotion, and within minutes I was able to put my clothes back on and go about with my day. Another positive is that this tanner provides you with a very good tone of color. What I mean by that is that you are not left with a very warm or orange looking tan, and on the other extreme you're also not left with a very ashy looking color. I would say that it gives you a very natural olive based tan complexion. And lastly, when used on my face, this tanner didn't seem to break me out, cause irritation, or any additional acne. Although I can't speak to the effects that this tanner might have on your face if you continue using it for a long period of time. Now, here are some things that I wasn't exactly crazy about when it comes to the Tan Physics tanner. The first point is that the intensity of the color that you get isn't exactly what I expect from a sunless tanner. Even after building the color for 2 days, I was still left with a very mild and subtle tan, which to me is just not enough color payoff. The second point is that even though this tan starts fading fairly evenly throughout your body, it does fade quickly within 2 to 3 days of application. Now, compared to some of the other drugstore tanning products that I use that give you a tan for almost a full week, 2 to 3 days is just not enough of a lasting power for me. The third negative for me was that Tan Physics doesn't offer lotions that would offer different levels of color. It would be really nice to have a separate formula that is designed for people with more deeper skin colors that would provide you with a better color and a deeper tan. And lastly, the price of this tanner was a bit too high for me. Like I mentioned before, there are other drugstore options that retail for half the price and perform just as well, if not better. So my bottom line summary on the Tan Physics Sunless Tanning Lotion is this. In my opinion, this product was created to be used more as a daily moisturizer than a one-time tanner. As a result of this, it gives you a very mild, subtle, natural looking color that you can build upon by using this as a daily moisturizer. It is not a product that a lot of people might be expecting, where you apply this once a week and you will get a full, rich color that'll last you the entire week. Now, if you are someone that's looking for a tanner that has natural ingredients that will give you a very nice, subtle touch of color and improve your complexion, this is the tanner for you. This is also good for people that might be very pale and don't need a whole lot of color payoff. However, if you do have slightly deeper skin tones, or if you are looking for a tanner that provides that nice, rich color, this will not be a good fit for you. So that was my take on the Tan Physics True Color Sunless Tanner. I really hope it was helpful and that you enjoyed this, and that it hopefully helped you make up your mind on this particular product. Please be sure to come back and subscribe to HighYa on YouTube for more product reviews and helpful tips. And I hope to see you soon. Bye.